Hi, okay, this is the first of the Facebook training videos. Now, Facebook is obviously a massive presence on the internet nowadays. It is getting as much traffic as Google, and people spend a lot more time in their Facebook account than they tend to anywhere else online. So it is a great place to be able to do some marketing, whatever your niche is. Now, obviously, some niches are going to be better suited than others. Some you will have more profit and more success with. Others will just be a lesser presence, but they can still bring you traffic back to your web page or your niche site. So we need to cover a couple of things. First of all, where are you going to set up these fan pages? Are you going to do it on your main Facebook profile? The answer there is, in my opinion, no, don't. A couple of reasons. First of all, your main profile should just be your main profile, and personally you should keep that to really your friends. Otherwise, if you start using that for business and mixing the two, you can lose track of the use of Facebook for your friends and family. So I'd recommend having separate profiles set up. However, there is one thing to remember here. Facebook do not allow you to have more than one profile. That is their terms and conditions. I've recently checked it because I heard a rumor recently from someone saying that you can, but it's still there in their terms. Maintaining multiple accounts regardless of the purpose is a violation of Facebook's terms of use. Okay, so you need to be careful about this. The way to have separate accounts is to make sure there's no relation between them. You will need a separate email address. I'd also recommend a different name and a different photo, okay, just to make sure there's no way of linking them together that's very easy. You can even go a step further and use them in different browsers or different IPs, etc. It depends on how paranoid you want to be about these things. I recommend at least using, obviously you have to use a different email address, but use a different photo and use a different name. Okay, now there are some other things to cover here. Obviously, you don't need a new Facebook account for every niche that you target. If you're targeting several niches within a bigger niche, within a bigger market, for instance, in the health market, then you could use one Facebook profile for several fan pages. But use some common sense. For instance, if you're using a profile and you have a fan page set up about the acne niche, then also setting up a fan page on the same profile about, for instance, back pain may not be a good mix, because acne is typically a young person's problem and back pain is typically an older person's problem. So if someone who is on your back pain fan page sees that you're also doing a fan page about acne, there may be some disjointedness going on there. It may raise questions in their mind. So just use your common sense and try and have fan page or Facebook profiles that allow you to cover several different niches on one, but if you need to, set up another one. Okay, for instance, this one I'm going to use for my home alarm security, home alarm system DIY niche, but I could also then use it for things like identity theft, other security issues, other DIY issues, home improvement, things like that. Things that are related and that individual would potentially still be interested in. Okay, hope that all makes sense. Just trying to make sure that we think about this before you go through the process of actually setting up a profile. Okay, let's actually go through the process of setting up a profile. Okay, so I've basically filled in some standard information, first name, last name, made up obviously. I've actually gone with a version of my first name, keep things simple. Email address, password, male or female, birth date. Again, because this is a fake profile, it's not my real birth date. What I would recommend though is making sure that you make a note of all this information, because once you have multiple accounts set up, it's quite easy to forget the details for one or more of them. So in that spreadsheet that we're keeping for each niche, to keep track of all our domain names, our passwords, our Twitter accounts, all this sort of stuff, include your Facebook information. First name, last name, email address, date of birth, and password. Okay, make sure you've got that in there in your spreadsheet in case you need to come back to it because you forget any of the details. Okay, I'm going to pause while I put in my real email address and hit sign up. Okay, so the next step we get to, there is a CAPTCHA form before that, which I typically got wrong. So you need to get through the CAPTCHA to prove you're not a robot. Then we get to the step 1, find friends. This we're not really bothered about. We'll find friends through other methods, obviously, because you're probably not going to be inviting your real friends to your niche marketing profile. So we simply click on skip this step. And the next step I tend to skip as well. You can make up a high school or college if you want to, but if it's fake, it's potentially a way of you being discovered that it's a fake profile. So I simply don't bother. Employer, we can fill that in later on if we want to get some keywords in there that are, for instance, this is a home security niche. We could actually put in an employer's name, home security, and a town name to make up a fake employer if we wanted to. Or we could put in the domain name for a niche site. But it's something we can come back to later on. So for the moment, I again simply click on skip and go on to step number 3. Now again, this is something we can do later on in the profile. So I'm going to not actually do it at this point and show you how to do it in the profile itself. But the important bit here is that you do put some sort of profile photo up there to make the profile look real. Okay, so I'm going to click on save and continue, and we'll actually do that in the profile itself. Okay, so when you first come in, I've actually already done this, but you will have this message at the top saying you need to complete your sign-up process. Basically, they've sent you an email. You need to click on the link in that email so that this bar will go away and you've confirmed your new Facebook account. I've already done that, so here we are. The next thing we can do is upload a photo, and simply click on upload, choose a file, and browse to the folder where you have some files. This one, I've got a few possibles here. As I said, you want to have a photo that's different to your normal photo. So for instance, I've got some of me as when I was a kid, pretty unrecognizable. I've also got one of my dad when he was younger. So be imaginative, come up with some photos that you can use that's not necessarily a friend or someone famous or anything like that. Don't get yourself into trouble, but find a photo that you can use that isn't obviously you. Okay, so I'm just going to go with this one here, an old one of dad. And that will upload it, and we'll have a new profile photo on our site on our profile once it updates. There we go. Okay, the rest of these bits and pieces, mobile activation, not bothered about that. Find people, not bothered. Control what information you share, not too bothered about that because we're not going to be sharing personal information on here. The important one is to go to here, edit your profile, and fill out profile information. Not really bothered about current city or hometown. That can be useful if you're targeting a local market or a particular city or something like that. The rest of the information, really, you could put something in the about me. I'm passionate about DIY and home alarm systems. Something with your keywords in there. If it was about, if you were doing a dog training niche, something about being passionate about puppies and dogs, etc. So you can get something in there that is keyword related, but don't just keyword stuff. That's going to be obvious. So put some general information that you're interested in and name not just one niche, but some related stuff as well. Okay, and the other thing you want to do is, where is it? Activities and interests. And this will actually help you find friends for this profile. Go to the activities interests page when it comes up. Okay, so that took a second or two to come up, Facebook running slow. Basically what we want to use these activities and interests to pick up things that are related to our niche, specifically and generally, as well as giving the option for other people to find us as friends because they're interested in the same things. So activities, I'm going to put in DIY. There we go, that's listed. Add activity. There we go. So we've got DIY, interests. Let's put that in there as well. DIY, DIY network. Okay, and we could also put in home security. Looks like there are a few for those. Home security store, safe home security. I'm just going to go with home security. So you can see what I'm doing. Pick some keywords that are related to your niche that other people are probably going to be interested in, that are interested in your niche. But you can also mix in some standard ones as well. So let's say I'm also interested in football. Okay, don't worry, it doesn't have to be something you're really interested in. I'm not a huge footy fan, but let's put it in there because other people may connect with it. You can do the same thing with sports, philosophy, education and work, arts and entertainment. Oh, let's save the changes first before we move away. If we go to arts and entertainment, one of the good ones on here is TV shows. So TV shows, I'm interested in home security. Let's say I also like CSI. Okay, CSI Miami, CSI New York. Again, what we're doing is giving other people the chance to connect with us because they've got similar interests, similar likes, and try and find TV programs, movies, books, music, etc. that are related to your niche, that other people that are interested in your niche are likely to be interested in. Okay, so again, save our changes. That's basically the setup of your profile. We can now go to view my profile, and there we go. We've basically got, we can update our work if we need to. That's the main parts of the profile done. The really important one to remember that you do fill in, because we need it appearing here, and I missed it out as we were going through, or at least I didn't type anything in, is click on that button there, edit profile. So click on that and come back in here and make sure you've got something in your about me. I've just typed something up, so let's copy and paste that in there. So I've got, I'm a bit of a DIY and home security nut, having worked in the home security for years, having a bit of a passion for do-it-yourself when it comes to stuff around the home. Maybe it's because I just don't like wasting money. So you can see I've got some keywords in there, I've got some reasoning behind it, and I've got something else that people might connect with, that they want to do their own home security system because they want to save money. Okay, so think about it and get something in there that's going to get people interested in being your friend and talking to you and following what you're doing updates about. So if we now go back to view my profile, that is something that will have appearing for people that come and look at my profile. They'll see that and be able to connect with me. Okay, that is how to set up your Facebook profile. What we're going to look at next is the extra bits, such as finding friends, joining groups, setting up fan pages. We'll do that to start off with, because that's really where we're going to attack or try and get attention for a particular niche and drive people back to our websites. Okay, thanks for watching. Please feel free to move on to the next video.